Thank you, Grant.
Alexa, stop. Yeah, Ray, I didn't even know you could join without an account. So that was a good thing to learn as far as I was concerned. You still alive, Grant?
Barely.
God, you're going downhill, boy. Start drinking or something.
I know. I've been trying to take care of myself too, and I don't know what's up.
Well, that's your indication, you know. You're what's the doctor call it? Contraindicated. So it's time to start drinking heavily, I think, based on your results to date.
I'll go pop a beer.
Yeah, don't listen to me, Grant. I'm a bad person. Don't even listen to me. This is how I get through life, you know. Just something happens, I do the opposite. It seems to work.
Of course.
Yeah. Hey, Kime. Hey, Chris.
Hey,
Gloria.
good morning, everybody.
Hey. Genevieve. Give it just another second here. Hey, Kat. I think I said hi, Kat, already. Sorry. Hey. I was saying to Ray, I didn't realize that you could join a Zoom without having to download a Zoom account. So I think that's pretty cool that you can. If I turn that ability on, which I did, I didn't even know we had that ability, but you can join this without having Zoom on your device. So that's kind of cool. All right. So welcome everybody to it's rainy and cold here. I don't know about you. I don't know what we were yesterday. I think we're high 70s and today it's going to be 51, you know, so welcome to North Carolina where all 4 seasons happen in one day, right? Hopefully there won't be an ice storm. That's my hope anyway. So today we're going to go through a little more granular on the different live streaming tools that are out there. And this is really intended to be kind of a question back and forth kind of thing. But I again learned something very cool today. So as I was putting together the PowerPoint or whatever you want to call it, I learned that with Canva, C-A-N-V-A, which is probably a lot of you use it anyway, you can turn a PDF or a PowerPoint into a link on a website. It turns it into a web page so that people can follow along and not have to download a gigantic file. So we'll give it a try, see how it goes. If it doesn't work, I'll switch to the actual PowerPoint or whatever. And so with that, I will share my screen. And don't hesitate to jump in at any point. This is going to be kind of a high level going through stuff type of thing. So is this full page for everybody or mostly?
Yep, looks good.
Okay. Because on my screen, it's only half a page. So that's what I'm trying to accomplish so I can have other stuff open at the same time. Okay. So this is going to be kind of an overview of the tools that are available and kind of the pros and cons of the different approaches that we may have talked about yesterday. So the first one I'm going to go over is somebody called Bamboozer. Bamboozer is out of Sweden, I believe. They're one of the first of this. I think they started, believe it or not, like 2006. They've been around a really long time. They're kind of a heavyweight application in the sense that most of their customers, as best as I can tell, are major companies, major retailers like Saks and Macy's and other people like Samsung and so forth. But the good thing about it is they really have extensive tools and controls and data gathering and all that kind of stuff, which you get as the customer. So we were talking about it yesterday, how Pop Shop Live keeps a lot of stuff for themselves. This is the first example, I guess, of really what I'm going to call your data first kind of application. It works on mobile. It has most of the features that I've seen in the field generally, but it is pretty strong cost-wise. It's about $600 a month, which is pretty strong. But my argument would be if you're if you're pretty, to the point where you're doing a lot of business, these guys are certainly an alternative. And I have been talking to them about them doing some kind of version for us, that would maybe accelerate rural is the client, but then all of you could use it. And I don't think they're that interested. They claim they are, but they're really slow to respond to me. So I don't know if that'll ever come about, but we'll see. Live Scale, they're out of Montreal. I really like these people. I've worked with them quite a bit and talked to them quite a bit. They actually are, I think, the most competitive with Bamboozer in terms of really high quality with lots of, and I will provide you all the PowerPoint and all that stuff in this link, so you'll have it for this. They're just a very, I would call it enterprise quality kind of tool, but it's a lot cheaper, at least to start with, at $99 a month with a trial. But I think once you kind of get it the way you may want it, in terms of all the different features that you might want, there's a heck of a lot here. I think that gets up pretty close to $500 a month also, depending on how many things you add on. One thing about all of these, and all of these, when I give you the PowerPoint or this link, these graphics that are on here will take you to their website. So there's a link on each graphic. And the good thing about that is you can really see how different people do shows on a much bigger scale than just going through Pop Shop or whatever. You can get a real sense of how people do their sets, how they do their shows themselves. Bamboozer in particular does a really great job. They have a full production team, and that kind of thing, and multi-camera, et cetera. So you can get some really good ideas from solutions like this, even if it may be too rich for you at this point. It's something to know about. Channelize is unique in this group that I've run across, in that Channelize is really or one of the only few, a software tool, as opposed to a brand. Like Bamboozer is a brand, Live Scale is a brand. Channelize is really not a brand. What they really are is a white label, private label video streaming service. So if you were to sign up with these guys, you have to have some access to development help, not super heavy duty. And I think they offer the service, but it will look like yours. It will not have anyone else's logo on it unless you choose to. So it really is kind of a tool, a software tool. And also what I like about it is they have spent a lot of time. I don't know if you're familiar with the concept of webhooks or APIs. These are all words that use that it will work with your app, with your e-commerce application in most cases. I know Shopify, WooCommerce, Magento, I think they work with just about all of the well-known e-commerce tools. So that's a plus. And it also has that capability we talked a little bit about yesterday, where you do one show and then you stream it to multiple locations. This has that functionality. So if you want to, it will not stream to Pop Shop. Pop Shop's a closed architecture, so they don't allow people to send stuff to them other than using their app. But everywhere else, Facebook, YouTube, yada, 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 this app will help you do that. And it's also, it's relatively low cost, prices starting at $49 a month. But you really have to factor in, what do you need to get this up and running? It may be that you need to spend some money on a developer, or maybe you can do it yourself, depending on your ability to kind of do that stuff. This term SDK means Software Development Kit. That's what that stands for. So when you see that, that means that they are intending for this to work with other things. API, UI is user interface, but look for things like SDK and API in the terminology. Will give you some idea of whether it's kind of a standalone brand or if it's a software tool that you could use. One other thing about Channelize, they are in India. And so I dealt with them over the holidays trying to chat with them. And I found it to be really challenging to deal with that time change. I think maybe they have an American office also. I was just talking to them. I wasn't a customer or anything like that, but I'm just a little bit leery of dealing with somebody in a completely different time zone. It just means I'm not going to get much sleep, has been my experience. Smartser is another app that is more like, a tool rather than a brand itself. And one of the things that they're known for is they have this, it's called a clickable pop-up or a clear CTA. CTA is call to action. So you have the ability to do little pop-ups that come up and say, hey, for the next 5 minutes, click here and buy, whatever. So it's just another little tool for talking with the customers or the prospects. They basically quote you. I'm not real sure on their pricing. I assume they're competitive. I've heard people talk about it. They're really known for integrating with almost every e-commerce app. That's kind of where they've spent their money and their time. But it's a pretty good platform. Network. This is kind of a wild story. So these guys, I believe they're mobile app only. And they do a lot of business. They've raised a lot of venture capital, but they really have weird stuff, even weirder than Pop Shop, and much more specialized. So this may or may not be right for any of you, but they tend to have really well-known like pop culture people, maybe rappers and people like that I know nothing about. But it's a strange experience, and it's basically it's not invite only, but it's really hard to get a spot on here. If they don't think that you're going to bring an audience or some kind of value, pretty unlikely they'll approve you to be on the app, which is okay with me, because I personally am not selling decorated sneakers, for example, which is one of their big things. Customizing sneakers apparently is a pretty big business, but it is kind of a neat place to see how shows are done, and particularly creative stuff and new ways of doing this kind of stuff. Often you'll see it first on Network, has been my experience. Okay, Comment Sold, some of you are familiar with. We actually have a long-standing relationship with them. So if any of you are interested, let me know, and I will connect you with a really great guy that we work with. What we found about Comment Sold, and this is true of almost all of these, with a couple exceptions, which I'll point out. Most of these don't have their own built-in audience like Pop Shop Live does. Okay, these are technology platforms or tools, so it's a slower go, if you will, but it's your stuff. It's not someone else's. So they're not about controlling everything. It's more about you building up your own kind of show, and Comment Sold is in that category. The other thing is I've learned is that these different platforms have different market niches that they appeal to. So for example, in Comment Sold, it seems to me that Comment Sold does really great with clothing and clothing boutiques and small retailers like that. I have not seen a lot of successful, for example, food sold on Comment Sold. And that may just be that they don't call on food people, they just call on retail stores. But Comment Sold is also a great place to go and see shows, especially from small businesses, creative people that the way they do their sets. One of my favorites, of course, I can't remember the name right now, but it's a quilting show from northern Minnesota, and it's 3 grandmothers that go live, and they sell an insane amount of quilting stuff. But their whole set and their whole zeitgeist is really fun. There's another woman who sells gardening tools and implements. I think she may sell plants too. I'm not 100% sure. I think it's called Red Shed. Again, it's actually northeast of Green Bay, Wisconsin, the middle of nowhere. And they sit around and drink beer at their show, and everyone gets drunk, and they encourage the customers to drink. And then I guess you start buying shovels and rakes and stuff. I don't know. It's one of the more hilarious live streams that I have seen, and truly, and just talk about different. So you'll see a lot of really wild stuff on Comment Sold. And because they've been pretty successful compared to some of these others, they've been doing it for a pretty long time. They have just a lot of shows that you can look at, and different customers in different categories. And again, if you want to talk to them really, about you in particular, happy to set that up. Now, one big problem with these guys, in my opinion, is they're not very expensive on a monthly basis. It says here they started at $49 a month, and they actually give you quite a bit of value for your monthly fee. So, for example, included in the monthly fee, they will build you your own iOS and Google Play Store app, standalone app that's yours, has your name on it. You run it just like you run your website. That is something that if you try to do it yourself will cost a fortune. So that's a really great benefit, in my opinion, to have that. But the gotcha with these guys is, depending on the plan you pick, it's gonna cost you, in addition to a monthly fee, between 3 and 5% of sales. That's how they make money. They have the monthly fee, but they also get a percentage of your sales. So last year, as a company, they did $1 billion in sales, just to give you an idea. So they really have a lot of people on the platform. If you want to learn about selling live, I can't think of a better place to go. They also are really big about sending this stream to Facebook and Instagram and other social media. I'm sure they go to TikTok now. I haven't really looked. But you can have it multi-streamed, I guess, like we've been talking about. So there's a lot of positive things here. To me, it's just a question of the economics. Once you pay the monthly fee and you pay a percentage of sales, how does that compare to your other alternatives? That's really what it boils down to me. The other thing I think is slightly kludgy meaning complicated. The way people buy on the app, they literally write the word comment sold, and then they say like product 1 or 2, whatever it is. So it's not as straightforward as some of the others where you click on the product and add it to your cart and then you buy it. Here you've got this comment sold process. So it's a little weird, a little different. And maybe they're not even doing it anymore. I haven't really kept up with them lately, but I've learned a lot watching them, and I have laughed hysterically at some of their shows because they are, the drunk gardener lady, she's got purple hair. She screams at the camera. It's just wild. And I just never seen anything like it. And the guy who I work with, who is their main sales guy out in Utah, I think, or no, he's in North Dakota, Fargo, North Dakota. He has a million stories. He'll just start, you get him started, and he told me about one couple that left San Diego and moved to far rural northern Idaho, with 4 kids, started homeschooling their kids. They do not live in a town. They live in the middle of nowhere. And she does $1 million a month on her live streaming, selling clothes that, her background is in fashion, so she knows where to get the stuff, but $1 million a month in northern Idaho out of a house in the middle of nowhere is pretty insane from my perspective. And that's from a year or more ago. So who knows what she's doing now. But it's a pretty interesting company, and a lot to learn here from these guys. And if there's enough interest from you all, we can get them to be a guest speaker and talk about their product. Talk Shop Live, I've shared with some of you all about this. When Pop Shop Live, we had a variety of issues, I started looking around for alternatives. And this is one of the first ones I ran across. And we do have a deal with them. I can't remember. It's no great shakes, but you can get into this really, really easily because of the relationship that I've built with them. They are also multi-streaming. But the thing that they have going for them is they have a lot of really big names on the platform. And the thinking is that, if if Oprah is going live, or here you see Dolly Parton, Alicia Keys, it really is an A-list of hosts. We talked about news hijacking. Well, you can hijack this stuff too. If you're on this platform, you can tell your people about it. I don't know how visible your particular offer will be. I haven't really dug into it, but it's pretty interesting. And they've been around for a while. They've been around since around 2018. But the list of who is on this platform is simply stunning. It's every, I think there's some woman that sells in Walmart, farmers something, other farmer's wife or something like that. She's got a show on PBS and all this kind of stuff. She is on here. Just a whole bunch of people that you will recognize. This one is no monthly fee. It's kind of like Pop Shop Live in that you pay a percentage of the sales. To my knowledge, that's it. Essentially that's it. So it's somewhat competitive with Pop Shop Live. I think it's just a very different audience, and we really haven't tested it. Like if you guys put some shows up on here, will you get traffic from Oprah's show? I don't know. But to me, this is more in keeping with most of our brands compared to Pop Shop Live. It seems to me that this is a slightly different, I would argue, a higher branded, better branded platform than Pop Shop Live. And they are in, I think they're in Memphis, if I remember right. So they're easy to deal with. And they seem to be really helpful. They have a group Zoom every Friday at 3:00 open to all customers. And they have this kind of back and forth where you can ask questions and they'll share best practices and stuff like that. I participated in one before Christmas. I thought it was really good. So they got some good features. But the quality of the people that are on this platform, from a marketing perspective, you can say, Opal's Candy joins Oprah and Dolly Parton to go live on Doc Shop. There's a lot of leverage here with the brands and the awareness. And so that's what I like about it. I just haven't really dug in with them at this point. Okay, so boy, this is for some reason all run-on sentence. So ShopLit Live is actually my favorite, and I've been spending a lot of time with them as a company, trying to work on a deal for all of you. And I think they're gonna do it. We'll see, but they are primarily a software tool. They're not big about their own brand, although they do have a little bit of a brand thing. They've got a couple people on there that you may recognize, or brands that you may know it. But it's a really lightweight kind of private label or white label branding. They do make you keep the little ShopLit Live logo, but you can use your logo. It kind of becomes your thing, which I really like. They have all of the functionality as far as integration with Shopify and all the various things. And they also have some unique things. They actually have an entire division of creators and influencers that you can hire to do your show. They have a whole list of people, and you, in fact, or people can actually apply to become an influencer or a host for them. And the cost of the host for your show depends on how famous they are, but it's generally around $100 to $200 to have one of their people host your show. So that's kind of a neat thing. If you want to try that, or you feel like you're like me, you have a face for radio, you have at least the option of getting one of their hosts or one of their influencers. You also have the option to encourage people who might be interested in doing this. They can become a creator and influencer on the platform, which is totally apart from your shop and your live stream. So it's kind of a neat feature. I like that. They seem to be pretty well funded. They've got a round of venture capital also. And the guy who's behind it was the in charge of Microsoft Windows for Microsoft. So he's a pretty solid financially guy. And he also was the first investor in TikTok, which I thought was pretty cool. So he's done well, but they have a lot of data, a lot of information, a lot of the same stuff I like about people like Bamboozer, and the more expensive, heavier brands. These guys have a lot of that stuff too, even though it's a lot cheaper. The deal we're working on with them most likely will be 10% of sales, no upfront cost, and the 10% includes the credit card fee. That's probably what it'll end up being, which is pretty much what Pop Shop Live is, very close, I think. But I do like them. They seem to be really wanting to work with small business. That's kind of what they're into, and they don't seem to me as weird as Pop Shop from that perspective. All right, so that's basically the stuff I wanted to go over today. So I'll really open it up to any questions that anyone might have or thoughts. Come on now, don't be bashful. Come on, Kyle, you got something to say. You're the most experienced guy here, I think, on live streaming.
I was just waiting on you to call on me.
Yeah, thank you. You know I will. I'm not going to sit here quiet for long.
No, and I feel the same way when I'm doing my show. It's like, okay, guys, come on, somebody give me some feedback, please. I'm dying here. But no, what I'm really interested in looking at the multi-stream purposes, to being able to do a show and send it out. And Craig from Sherry Orchard Foods, he and I had a conversation the other day, and he wanted to do back-to-back shows, and I'm like, what in the world? I said, man, it's killing me to do an hour. So, but he's got a million products, so it doesn't hurt him quite so bad. Yeah. But I'm like, why do I want to work that hard when I can do one show 1 hour and put it on 3 different platforms and reach the same target audience? But I love this information, and I appreciate that. I did go on and look up Cinder Cake over at Pop Shop and checked out what they were going on. But one of the things that I would love for us to do, I'd love to band together with us foodies and try to get our own category somewhere, wherever it is. I don't care. Let's just find a place. Let's all get together and do it.
Yeah, this will be. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to take Shop Rural, shoprural.org, which is the URL that I've gotten that grew out of Shop Rural Day, and on there create categories like you're mentioning that will be germane to us, and then have it where like ShopLit Live can stream there, can stream on your website, all that multi-streaming capability, but more importantly, the data and the customer data we get. But I am working on that to accomplish that. I have to get permission from ECU, which is a nightmare. So anyway, that I agree with you, and I think that's a really smart thing, because one of the problems with all these things, really is getting customers, getting viewers, getting people to find you. And the way to do that is to have a place where you can centralize your efforts. Like a website like Shop Rural, we can get budget from different, like the North Carolina Department of Agriculture, people like that, and we can drive traffic to it. So that's one thing. The other thing to keep in mind, I forgot to bring this up, and it's really important. When I was talking to the Bamboozer executives, they told me in their experience, and remember, they've been going since 2006, they find their customers do 75% of their revenue from their recorded shows after they're done, right? So all of the ones I've been showing, this ShopLit Live allows you to keep your recorded show up as long as you want, which is a really big thing. You'll be amazed. If we can get enough customers to find it, you'll be making sales even when you're not live, which is a problem with Pop Shop, right? You have to go live. So that's one thing I forgot to highlight. Everyone that I showed you has the ability to leave the previously viewed shows up. And that's also a place, for example, on Shop Rural, where they could all be, and you don't have to mess up your website with a bunch of recorded shows, particularly if it's a category type thing. So yeah, so anyone else?
So what you're working on with the shoprural.org, you would still do Shop Lit Live, and it would be going. Explain that. I'm a little confused on that. So Shop
It would look like Shop Rural's application, even though there would be a little logo from Shop Lit Live, but it's essentially would look like a standalone app like these others, only it would be Shop Rural.
Okay, and so we could do it through that, but we're doing it on Shop Lit Live.
Well, that's my plan, unless they don't come through with a good deal. We may end up with more than one, if we can get a good financial relationship. Comment sold would be a good one to have, I think, also. So you could experiment and see which platform is best for you. But conceptually, what you'd be doing is dealing with Shop Lit Live through my wrapper, through Shop Rural's wrapper, if you will, just because then we can aggregate everybody. We can get a better deal than if you try to go get it on your own.
Gotcha.
But you can certainly also, I'll certainly recommend that you look into it on your own. But by grouping everyone together, they're more willing to talk turkey than,
Oh, yeah.
an individual company. That's what it seems like to me. Anyone else? Hey, Chris.
I like Keim's idea, and I was looking through Pop Shop the other day, even having like looking through Pop Shop, and even if it was like a handmade category.
Mm-hmm.
I started. Am I breaking up?
Not now. You were. Now you're fine.
Okay. But like I started following this woman who's doing like decorated eggs for Easter, and she's got a show coming up. And just to be able to go to a place where even if it's not all just food or whatever, but that it's handmade, I think would help things stand out. And I don't know if your connections at Pop Shop could even help make that a category, because I look through, here's toys and Disney and pins.
Yeah, you're breaking up now, Chris.
And well, this category. And I don't know if artists. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll stop video.
Well,
Maybe that will help. But.
Yeah, I have been talking to Pop Shop Live for quite a while, and what all of the categories they have, they've really tested extensively, like particularly the Disney stuff and in these pin things, which I don't understand. They spend a lot of time and money figuring out what sells on their platform. And when we did our Shop Rural Day in November,
but I do think I am enjoying the platform.
I'm sorry. You're breaking up, Chris.
I'll try this. So I've enjoyed the platform of Pop Shop to get my feet wet with live video.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of a easy platform for people to find you.
Right.
Where looking at some of these other ones, it probably will just take a while to kind of get people to find your brand when you're up against Dolly Parton.
Well, the idea is to leverage the traffic. Hopefully you'll be seen. If someone goes there to see Dolly Parton, hopefully there's some chance they see your site. That's the logic they shared with me. I don't know if it works part of it is you can use that to leverage your own promotion and advertising and help your message, get through the clutter also. Ultimately, all of these, including Pop Shop Live, which, as you know, they will actually pay money if you get a certain number of people to sign up. That's because it's really hard to get customers, right? That's a very expensive process. So, it's going to take time no matter what platform you do. But I really like the idea of having the previously recorded show stay up so that people can buy even when you're not live. It just seems logical to me, especially if you're only going live once a week or something like that. How great if somebody can find your product. You could have a press release or an article or something go out and then all of a sudden people can go and find it and buy something. I think that's a powerful tool. And after talking to the people of Bamboozer, where they claim that it's an incredibly high percentage of their total sales actually take place from recordings. To me, we just had to figure out how to do that, basically. So yeah, these are the challenges. I agree with you as far as getting found and getting customers, just like every other, whatever channel you use, including a Main Street location or, a mall. Everything is about attracting customers. So I understand that. Yeah, I think Pop Shop, there's no reason not to keep doing Pop Shop Live, really, no matter what you do. I mean, if you're on it and you're comfortable and you're making a certain amount of sales, why not just do it? I mean, it's on your schedule, whatever you want, and you could even conceivably have one of your employees or someone who wants to become a social media star could be your host, right, in your absence. That's something you can look at too. Probably not viable for everybody, but it is at least an option for some. Any other thoughts?
One of the things that I will say, and I don't know about all these others, but I did set up an account with Talk Shop Live, and it was a little more cumbersome. It wasn't quite as user friendly to get into as Pop Shop. Pop Shop was pretty straightforward. It's clear cut and it's direct to the point. Yeah. But I certainly do want to work towards the Pop Shop and a Talk Shop. I would love to add that to this process as well. But yeah, no, it's fun and it's good, and I appreciate the opportunity and the experience, and opened up a whole new revenue stream that I would have never considered any other way if it hadn't been for this class. Dennis. So
I think I just got a little commercial. I got to record what you just said and use that in my promotion for students, right?
You should. You really should.
The other thing about most of these, with the exception of network, is they're not necessarily app only like Pop Shop Live is. This ability to multi-stream really requires that you not have it all in an app. It's just more difficult to get that stream into other spots, if you will. So, Shoplit Live is agnostic as to the platform, as is Talk Shop Live and some of the others. So that's something I've learned, that, if you want a walled garden, which is what Pop Shop has, it's walled, it's hard to get in, relatively speaking, you can't just stream to it, et cetera. It's something that, if you can get more people to see it and then find your tribe, find your people that are buying your product, and then you can emphasize that channel, whichever one that might be. It might turn out to be Pop Shop Live, who knows? But I'm not trying to discourage anything. I'm just trying to open up the opportunities and make it a little bit more impactful. If we can, we may not be able to, I understand that. But I think I can get some money from the Department of Agriculture and maybe some other spots, which will allow me to drive traffic to a place. That's really what I want to try to do. And that will help all of you. If you're on there, you'll get your share, because it'll be just really rural North Carolina businesses. It's not going to be open up to the world. It's just you all and people that have gone through the accelerator and so forth. So that's kind of my strategy, is to figure out how to get critical mass somewhere that you all can leverage. That's really what I'm trying to do. All right. Any other comments, thoughts? Ray, I see you there with your deep thoughts. Talk to me.
I'm sorry, I'm handling technical issues 10 times during the call. I have some catch up to do from the last. Sorry, I missed you at the show.
Okay. Okay, we got it's not, I can't hear you, Ray. It's not coming through. It's really broken up, but we'll catch up. No problem. All right, everybody. That's it for today. Keep those cards and letters coming, and if anybody has anything they want to talk about, let me know, and we'll we'll make a time. All right, and I'll put this stuff on the Facebook. Actually, I think I can. Let me see if I can. Let's see here. I think I can put this link in the chat. I'll put it on the Facebook page too. But let me try putting it in the chat and see if that works. Okay, so that's the presentation. Hopefully you'll be able to get it there, but I'll put it on Facebook also. All right. Well, thanks everybody. I appreciate your time and attention, and talk to everyone soon.